What's up everybody, Matt Rorabeck here from Connected, and I have a very special guest today to talk about video games with me, Mr. Shaun Hatton. How are you, my friend?
Hello, I'm doing well.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So to kick off, we're going to talk about video games in this next couple minutes, and for those that don't know you though, do you maybe want to say a few words about yourself and your kind of history in the gaming industry?
Sure, I've been playing video games since the age of 3, and from an early age I knew I wanted to do something as an adult that involved video games in some capacity. You know, make them, talk about them, write about them. I used to read video game magazines and think that was cool.
Nintendo Power.
Yeah, way back. And I ended up working for a show called The Electric Playground.
Of course, yes.
And I got to travel the world playing video games before they came out, talking to the people. Man. I know, talking to the people who make the games, going to game tournaments, E3. It was great. So that's where most people know me from. And I still cover video games, although now it's mainly online and writing about them.
Yeah, you talk about that you're still covering games, and you said you've been playing games since as a young kid. So what keeps you kind of gaming and your obsession into video games into today?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel that I love video games just because they're fun. I love the escapism of it all. Like, I love, like, hey, now suddenly I'm a plumber and I'm busting bricks with my fists.
Right.
Or, you know, I'm a robot and I'm fighting these other robot masters. I love the challenge, actually. I'm still very much of the high score mindset of, like, trying to beat my friends at things. Like, hey, look how fast I could do this level. So I tend to gravitate towards those kind of games that are, like, kind of old school in nature or arcadey in nature.
Cool.
And that is what keeps me coming back.
Speaking of like competing against your friends and things like that in video games, I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of online gaming and how internet is involved into every game, from a single player game to a multiplayer game to basically everything nowadays. So I just want to get your point of view on like the state of the industry and online gaming. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's amazing to see how far video games have come since those early days, like having to blow the cartridge to make sure that it works. I feel that we're living in the most exciting time for the video games industry because we've got Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, all bringing their A game when it comes to their consoles. We've got developers really developing for those systems. We've got PC gaming, which is just huge. And we've got esports, which has become such a beast that now people's parents know about esports. It used to be like a very select few would know, and now you've got tournaments and big theaters. So yeah, gaming is huge right now, and I love the fact that you can buy things online. You don't have to go to the store or wait for a specific time. I used to like camp out waiting for the store to open.
Releases and stuff like that,
And now you just purchase it online, it downloads automatically, and you're good to play.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because you talked about both esports and kind of the single player or just wanting that game the minute that it comes out. So how important is an internet connection for gaming nowadays? Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I would say that having a good internet connection is as important as having a reliable controller. So obviously you want to be able to play the game as it's meant to be played, so you need good controls for it. But if it's an online game, you really need that fast, solid connection that's going to be reliable, because if you're fighting someone, let's say in Street Fighter V, you want to make sure that there's no input latency or any sort of disconnections in the game, because if there is, you could be on one side of the screen 1 second and then be on the other side and completely defeated the next. And that, as a gamer, is a horrifying thing to experience. So you want to make sure that when you're playing someone online, the gameplay experience is exactly the same as it would be as if you were sitting beside them on the couch.
Right. And then even if you're not playing online, and going back to like the downloading games off Steam or the PlayStation Network store or Xbox Live, it's interesting to me that you're usually waiting for these games for months and months to come out, and like you're dying to play that game. So having a really fast internet speed is ideal, because you can preload that game and you can play it day one at midnight, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And also, like, let's say you don't preload the game and you just wait for the day of it to come out. It's sort of like I'm really excited about the new Mario Kart, and I'm going to buy it the minute it comes out. And if I'm sitting there waiting for it to download, it's sort of like I already waited months for this, and now I'm waiting, and that wait, even though it's just going to be like a few minutes, is even more unbearable. It's like when you're out somewhere and you're on your way home and you have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And the closer you get to home, like you're like, I can't believe I'm not home yet. I need to go. And it's basically the same thing for me. Like when I'm downloading a game and I'm ready to play it, I need to play it. It used to be for so long that a lot of people didn't take gaming seriously,
right.
and so gamers had this kind of negative connotation to them. It's like, oh, that guy just plays video games. But now you could be in a situation where like, oh, that guy plays video games, and he's like a world champion at Fallout, or no, you're not really going to be a world champion.
You could.
But now you're in the situation where you could be like, that guy plays video games and he's like the top player of Mortal Kombat. And that to me is like really exciting. And to see that companies like Rogers, who've been around forever, and they're like they're so old school because they've existed for so long, but they're really hip to new technology and new trends.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's really neat.
No, it's cool. So I know you brought some goodies for us that I wanted to kind of check out. So I know like when you're sitting at home, you're playing games, whether it's your computer or your console, what are your kind of necessities that you have to have when you're gaming?
All right, well, first and foremost, you need to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You need to have a good chair. You need to be dressed, you know, comfortably enough.
Yeah.
You're not gonna game in a three-piece suit necessarily, although if that's your thing, go for it. But then secondly, you need to have good peripherals, so good controllers. I brought my Astro A40 headset, which is my must-have. Whether I'm playing PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, this thing is always on my head. And I even use this for just like Skype calls or even to listen to music while I'm about town. So it goes on your head like this. Feels pretty good, it's comfortable, and makes me feel like a helicopter pilot. You know, I was a big fan of Airwolf as a child.
Okay,
not to date myself here.
That's why you bought that headset.
Exactly. And this comes with a device called the Mixamp, which is Astro's companion piece to the A40 headset. And this plugs directly into your console or your PC or what have you. And it allows you to actually mix in the game audio with the voice chat, which is very cool, because sometimes you might be in a video game situation and someone's yelling and it's like, oh, dude, like, you don't have to yell. I'm just going to dial you down, and so I still hear the game audio, but less of the yelling, which is a really cool feature. And then reverse to that is sometimes people are kind of mumbly and you can't really hear them, so you could turn up the volume on that. And then it's got this big master control. It makes me feel like I'm piloting a jet fighter or something. It just makes me feel cool. So yeah, that's the Astro headset. I've also got the Logitech G403 Prodigy mouse, which is really great. There's really high resolution on this thing. It's great for first-person shooters, and also pretty good for spreadsheets if that's your thing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Shaun, thank you so much for joining me. Just one last thing. Do you have any kind of last tips for the people watching if they're either just getting into gaming or they've been a gamer their whole life? Just any last words for the people?
Yeah, just have fun. Make sure whatever it is you're doing, that you're having fun. Because if you're not having fun playing a video game, you're missing out on the whole point. So, you know, sometimes situations can be frustrating. Someone's really destroying you online. But just remember, even when you're losing, there's learning opportunities there. So if you're matched up against a player who's way better than you, you're just going to become better by losing against that person, because you'll learn new techniques by watching them.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me, my friend. It was a pleasure talking. I always love talking video games. So if you want to check out more of Shaun's work, go follow him on Twitter at MegaShaun. I am Matt Rorabeck, and for more videos like this, you're already in the right place, connected.rogers.com.